we're going to begin this hour with more food news. Our series, The Dish. It's the story of two brothers today and a celebrated chef who remind us that America's biggest city is actually a bunch of little islands. I'm talking about New York City, which is home to a growing fleet of what you might call ocean-themed waterfront bars and floating restaurants, including 6 owned by Alex and Miles Pincus, with food by a James Beard Award winner and accomplished fisherman, by the way, named Carrie Heffernan. Grand Banks is the original, and it's docked off an island you may have heard of, Manhattan. When it's golden hour in New York City, there's no better place to be than on a boat in the Hudson River, even if the boat doesn't actually go anywhere.
We just realized there was this component of boating that wasn't boating.
A lot of people like being on a boat. They don't necessarily need the boat to be moving.
And there's the anxiety of arrival. You have to be on time, and we don't really like committing to things like that. We just want to go have fun and see where the night takes you.
Alex and Miles Pincus have been putting that idea into action for what is now a 10th summer at their restaurant, Grand Banks, serving oysters, cocktails, and fresh seafood aboard a retired fishing boat.
There's not a lot of people out there giving money to preserve old boats.
Yeah.
The next life for them is in the landfill becoming compost, really.
Instead, the Pincus brothers are reconnecting people with the water, not only at Grand Banks, but with another historic sailboat docked in Brooklyn, multiple oyster bars, and more old boats in development, including a century-old windjammer they picked up in Maine just last month. And if all that sounds hard to pull off, it is.
Maintaining a boat is difficult. Maintaining a high-volume restaurant on a boat in New York City in the elements is incredibly hard.
Almost impossible.
But, you know, even on the worst days when Miles and I have been out here at 3 in the morning where there's something going wrong, inside the belly of the boat, upside down, trying to fix something. And it's, you know, honestly one of the happiest moments of my life because you're kind of alive and engaged in doing something that you care about and keeping it going. And, you know, on a beautiful day like today when you're out here having a beer with your friends, and things are going well, it feels incredible.
And it helps, of course, when the food is incredible, too.
I know all the eating and the drinking goes on the boat.
Yeah.
Does the cooking also go on the boat?
Yeah, we cook everything down below.
Carrie Heffernan is culinary director, responsible for what comes out of the galley here and at all the Pincus brothers restaurants.
So at what point did you think to yourself, I think I want to be a professional chef?
Yeah, well, I was young and I wasn't doing very well in traditional school, and I had a choice of doing something on the level of reform school or vocational school, and vocational sounded a lot better, so I got into cooking that way.
This choice doesn't sound all that voluntary.
Not really.
Okay.
But by the time he arrived here, he was ready to grab the helm.
As I understand it, when the Pincus brothers came to chat with you about this position, they were asking you for referrals, not offering you the job.
That's right.
Is that true?
That's absolutely true, and I just said, I'd give it a shot.
He's done more than just that, launching off a resume that includes everything from the original menu at Shake Shack to reality television to celebrated fine dining at Southgate and 11 Madison Park. But as comfortable as he feels in a kitchen, he's maybe even more passionate about being on the sea. In this case, on a smaller boat a few miles south of Manhattan, we watched as he reeled in some fish.
Oh, you're gonna be smoked.
That came back with him to Grand Banks.
The bluefish dip is just this sort of cream cheese and creme fraiche mixture. And the smoked bluefish is just kind of flaked like this.
It's a challenging dish.
I've been told to prepare for a strong flavor when it comes to bluefish.
That's when bluefish are mishandled.
Okay.
We bleed and ice them immediately.
Okay.
So we get a much more mild and rich flavor.
It's terrific.
That's
It's not
awesome.
at all what I expected.
And for Heffernan, that's what it's all about, cooking what the sea gives you. On this day, that included a showcase of East and West Coast oysters. Best, Heffernan says, without what he calls the absolute poison so many of us enjoy.
You're not a fan of cocktail sauce on an oyster.
No.
Ketchup you're not a fan of.
End of Western civilization.
He still serves it if you want, along with a more consensus seafood favorite, the lobster roll.
All right, here we go.
the ultimate Grand Banks experience.
So good.
This is the life on a summer evening along the water. But this wasn't supposed to be the Pincus brothers' life. Their father, a restaurant manager in New Orleans, had hoped they'd pursue something else.
We were told to never, ever, ever do this.
Your father said this is not a good.
1,000 times.
Not fun. Don't do
1,000
it.
times.
Don't do it. Worst business ever. Terrible idea.
Instead, it's turned their lives, as well as the drinks and the meals and the sunsets of so many visitors, into something to savor.
I was a disgruntled architect professor. Miles is a guy hacking away at a boat in California. And for me, coming here every day makes my life better.
Boy, you got the Pincus brothers and I like Carrie a lot, the way he thinks.
The whole crew is incredible, and they make my life better and a lot of people's lives better. They've got another boat off of Brooklyn called Pilot, which I go to all the time with Katie.
Really?
And, you know, we were joking on the call yesterday that whether you're drinking or not, you can feel a little tipsy because it's a real boat on the real water, and there are waves. I was talking to some of the wait staff, and it can take about a week before you get comfortable shucking an oyster on the deck while it's moving or walking with a tray. But
Oh, the food looked good. You know what caught my eye? The French fries. French fries are always good when they're in those silver tubes, wrapped in the wax paper, sticking up. It's like golden brown and crunchy, just the right width.
Carrie Heffernan,
I'd go for those.
Carrie Heffernan did the whole menu at Shake Shack. He knows French fries.
Which is on fire right
Yeah,
now.
he knows it.
I knew there was a reason.
I got to check it out.
I like him.
I like that, Tony.
Great.